Hello, beautiful third graders, and welcome back to day 5 of Drawing Conclusions in Poetry. My name is Mrs. Cole. I'm the reading coach at J.B. Fisher Elementary School. Today, we're going to review and then we're going to practice together. So give me a second while I share my screen with you. Okay, we're almost ready to go. Let's begin with our learning target. I can draw conclusions using evidence from the text and my background knowledge while reading poetry. All week, we've been talking about what a conclusion is. A conclusion is something you figure out that is not directly stated or explained in the text. We use clues from the text and our own background knowledge to draw a conclusion. Let's review a few things. We make inferences and draw conclusions while we read, and this is especially important while we're reading poetry. We use evidence in the text, that is what the poem says, and our background knowledge, that is what we already know, to draw conclusions. And drawing conclusions helps us better understand what we are reading. We're going to begin today by reading the poem called The Search. And right now, before we begin, I'd like you to set up your graphic organizer. You can print the graphic organizer from your learning path, or you can simply take a piece of paper and divide it into 3 parts. Here you're going to record what the poem says in the first column, which you already know in the second column, and then you're going to be able to draw a conclusion. So please follow along as I read The Search. I emptied my sports bag, checked in my car, reached under the sofa, and searched near and far. But hunt as I may, I've got only one shoe, and where its mate is, I haven't a clue. When was your last game? Dad asked thoughtfully. And after the game, whom did you see? I pause in my tracks. Dad's smart, it is true, but his questions don't lead to my runaway shoe. It's surely gone missing. There's clearly no hope. I have to give up, find somewhere to mope. So I sit on the steps and stare into the yard, where Otis the dog serves as guard. Then I notice that Otis has a new chew, with laces and treads. Oh no, it's my shoe. So let's look at the first question. It says, in stanza 5, how can we describe how the speaker is feeling? What is your text evidence that supports your answer? So your text evidence is going to be what the poem says, and you're recording that in your first column. So let's go back to stanza 5. This poem has 7 stanzas total. We need to find stanza 5 and reread. It's surely gone missing. There's clearly no hope. I have to give up, find somewhere to mope. So here I want you to think about the words in stanza 5. And I want you to write down in your graphic organizer the words in stanza 5 that help you understand what the speaker is feeling. Then in the next column, I want you to write down what you already know. Then I want you to draw a conclusion. How is the speaker feeling in stanza 5? Go ahead and pause the video now and work on that. Now, here's what I was thinking. The poem says the words, no hope. It also says I have to give up and find somewhere to mope. Mope means to pout or sulk. That's what the poem says. What I know about this is that when I lose hope and want to give up, I feel sad and upset. So I can conclude that the speaker of the poem is feeling very upset in stanza 5. Here's another question. Based on events in the poem, where was the shoe most likely worn? And what is your text evidence that supports your answer? So let's go back to the poem. I want you to look for clues to where that shoe was most likely last worn. And I want you to record them in your graphic organizer. Think about what you already know and then draw a conclusion to answer the question. Where was this shoe most likely last worn? You can pause the video now. So when I went back through the poem, I saw that the poem says, in line 1, emptied my sports bag. It also says in stanza 3, Dad asked, when was your last game? And then it also says, after the game. So I know we wear tennis shoes when we play sports and games. So I can conclude that the shoe was most likely last worn at a game. Great job. Now we're going to read another poem called Band of Thieves, and then we're going to answer some multiple choice questions. So please follow along as I read Band of Thieves. A band of thieves I spied tonight, their silver fur in silver light, winked at the moon as if to say, shh, quiet, don't give us away. The leader wore a thief's disguise, a mask of black around her eyes. Not far behind her young did trail, each with a mask and a bushy tail. And as they whisked across our grass, I puzzled at them through the glass. I wondered what had brought them here. Money, jewels, expensive gear? Turns out these bandits on all fours were treasure hunting out of doors. They'd come to snack on my dog's kibble to satisfy a midnight nibble. So let's look at the first question together. The author includes lines 7 and 8 to A, describe the feelings of the characters, B, explain why the thieves are quiet, C, show that the thieves are animals, or D, give reasons the young are behind the leader. So let's look back and find lines 7 and 8. Lines 7 and 8 are in stanza 2. This poem has 4 stanzas, you can see. So let's look at stanza 2, lines 7 and 8. Not far behind her young did trail, each with a mask and a bushy tail. So the poem says mask and bushy tail. And I know that animals have tails, right? So to best answer this question, the author includes lines 7 and 8 to C, show that the thieves are animals. Now, I want you to think about this even further now and answer this question. What type of animal are the thieves? So we know the thieves are a type of animal now. What type of animal are the thieves? And what is your text evidence that supports your answer? So let's go back to the poem. And you can pause the video now and look for your clues so you can draw a conclusion about what this animal is. Raccoons. That's right. If you said raccoons, you were correct. Because in the poem, it describes them as having black around their eyes, wearing these masks of black fur around their eyes and having those big bushy tails. That describes a raccoon. Now, in this next multiple choice question, I'd like you to try and do it on your own. It says, which of these are the thieves trying to find? A place to hide. B, a place to rest. C, some jewels to steal. Or D, some food to eat. Now I'm going to take you back to the poem. And I want you to pause the video here. And I want you to look for some clues to try and figure out what these thieves are looking for. Okay, so if you look at stanza 4, there are some important words in the poem that help us figure this out. The words snack and my dog's kibble and a midnight nibble. Back to the question, which of these are the thieves trying to find? Well, all of those words in the last stanza make me think of food. And I know that raccoons are always trying to find food. They always go through your garbage and they're always scavenging for food. So these thieves, who we know are raccoons, are trying to find D, some food to eat. Great job. Now, I want to close out our week with one of my favorite poems. It's called Dreams by Langston Hughes. I'd like you to follow along as I read it aloud. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow. Now, this is a beautiful poem, and I think it has a very powerful message. It also includes some metaphors to think about. And in your reading response today, I want you to think about your dreams. What are your dreams? And what can you do to stay motivated and positive during this strange and difficult time we're in? How can you continue to pursue your dreams? You also have some independent practice on commonlit.org. So you know you can either log in to commonlit.org and search for the poem. Today's poem is called I Practice by John Arno Lawson. And you can complete the guiding questions and assessment questions online, or you can print the PDF copy on the learning path to complete the questions. This is what the poem looks like today. I practiced. I've also included some more poems to explore. If you are interested in reading more poetry in your free time, you can log into Epic and you can search some of these books of poetry that I found. Pizza and Other Stinky Poems by Harriet Seifert. Ocean Soup, Tide Pool Poems by Stephen R. Swinburne. And Cat Poems by Dave Crawley. Well, third graders, I hope you've enjoyed this week as much as I have. I hope you've learned a lot about drawing conclusions and also enjoyed exploring some poetry. So please take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for spending your week with me. Bye, third graders.